in the tank room at Kueka Spring Vineyards with Len Wiltberger and son Mark, and we're tasting some beautiful Riesling from the 2010 vintage right out of the tank. And you can see it's fresh harvest time. The fruit flies are here, and it smells like freshly pressed grapes, but Riesling just pressed in the tank. How long is this going to be in the tank for?
This will be in the tank for about 4 or 5 months. And right now it's really young. It has these really young aromas that you get right after fermentation, all these tropical aromas. Just a little bit of time in the tank, you start to get the more classic Riesling aromas that are lying underneath there. It's hazy now because it still has some yeast suspended, it has some carbonation, but all that will go away before we bottle it.
We do Riesling from our vineyard and a couple of other vineyards, and there will be some variation. So part of what will happen from here on out is that we will choose the right amounts to blend to make our dry Riesling and then our semi-sweet Riesling. But
being a chef, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And, but I mean, you're tasting one thing here, but this will turn out to be quite different. This Riesling, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to get peach out of it in a few months because of the warm growing season that we had.
How was 2010 as a whole, as a vintage?
I think everybody's excited about 2010.
Yeah.
I think for both whites and reds.
Great.
You know, in 2009 we dropped to the ground half of our Cabernet Franc and our Lemberger because we knew from the science, we knew from the weather that it wasn't going to ripen up unless we just stopped ripening half the fruit in the beginning of August. So just went out, sent workers out there, dropped it to the ground. And we say bye-bye grapes.
It's got to be hard.
But then the grapes come
That's
in.
a big sacrifice.
Yeah, but the grapes come in and then they're so fantastic, and then you know you make a great wine from them.
It's not about quantity; it's about quality. Sometimes you have to bite the bullet and do that, right?
It's all about the quality. I mean, really, when you think about it, who wants a lot of wine that's okay?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I would drink half the juice before it fermented, before it became wine.
No, this is now fermented.
It's fermented, yeah.
But it's not juice anymore. It has the alcohol in it. And
the juice is delicious. I mean, we press it, but before we start fermentation, we've got so many hundreds of gallons of sweet juice.
Is it nice drinking juice?
24%.
Do you have to keep everybody away from it?
They're
Don't drink
delicious.
this.
They're delicious. Yeah. But then when we ferment it, with wine you have precursors, things that have a certain flavor when it's juice, and then the yeast comes along and says, okay, I'm going to take this compound and I'm going to change it sort of into this aroma here and get some sort of more classic wine aroma. So
and that's the
it's fascinating. It's magic. It is.
Yeah.
It feels like magic. It's really
and when
amazing.
people smell wine and say, I'm smelling peach or smelling pineapple, you don't come down here at night and just dump extracts in the wine. I know people always think, how does it get that cherry, that peach, that tropical? But it's the actual fermentation and aging and the chemical compounds that change in these wines.
I mean, the fascinating thing about wines and all these different varieties of wines and whites and red and rosés and all this stuff is that, whatever you taste in spades with like a strawberry, but you taste some strawberry in a wine or you taste some cherry, it's probably the exact same molecule, but it's just there in a different amount in that wine. And the grape just expresses all these different combinations, and that's why people like us are just so fascinated by it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is the Gewürz from 2010, and Gewürztraminer is one of my favorite grapes. Very, very unique flavors, very aromatic. And this again, not filtered yet. You can see the color. It's it almost looks like a fruit juice. But I can already smell that.
You can smell the
spiciness. Yeah,
tropical in this.
Definitely tropical. I was almost getting like a mango kind of guava.
Right.
And it's interesting when people say spicy for Gewürztraminer.
It's spicy, but it's not spicy.
Right.
It's
not spicy like in the jalapeno pepper kind of spicy way,
right.
But you think baking spices like a little clove or nutmeg, cinnamon, and that's what I'm getting, kind of little notes of that on the back.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, clove or nutmeg or something like
just
that.
a beautiful, very perfumed grape to me, and I think that's why I love Gewürztraminer. And people love your Gewürztraminer. The 2008 won a big medal out in San Francisco.
Yeah.
The 2009 is already sold out. So your Gewürz definitely has a cult following. It's a fabulous wine. Yes. Well, cheers, you guys. Thanks for bringing us into the magical fermentation room. And best of luck with the 2010s. It looks like it's going to be a fabulous vintage. So thank you so much for having us today.